Tonight we've got live commentary of Wolverhampton Wanderers against Manchester United. Kicks off at 8 o'clock. Wolves are yet to win a game this season. Have they got any chance against Manchester United, Martin Keogh?
Well, I mean, when you've come from, 12 defeats now and no wins, I've not really seen too much in the last number of games the new manager's been in, Rob Edwards, since he's been there.
They were competitive against Villa, weren't they? But they didn't really look as if they were going to score.
Yeah, but I think that's maybe the next step for Villa. When Villa have to go and take a team on that's not really coming at them, that's when they need to find solutions to break teams down. Not to have a go at Villa, and people see it that way. I just think that's the next step for Villa. And Wolves competed in that game for quite a long period, but they were always going to win that game, Villa. So Wolves obviously Manchester United is a game now where you think you can get maybe something from it. I still don't think Wolves will secure their Premier League status this season. I don't think it's possible. And as I say, I don't think the calibre of player now, too many players have been allowed to leave successively in the last 18 months. And the manager, as we say, has walked into a really difficult situation. I don't see them turning it round. But look, if they can get something against Manchester United, they're on 2 points at the moment. They're 8 points from Burnley, who are in trouble themselves. So it looks as if statistically they're not going to make it.
Is the angst and clamouring around Kobbi Mainoo justified, or is it merely heightened because he's an England international and an academy graduate? He remains without a Premier League start all season. He was left on the bench against West Ham United. Remember, this is a guy who scored in the FA Cup final and played all of the games at Euro 2024 pretty much. Much of Amorim's pre-match press conference saw him field questions around the midfielder's continued omission.
I just want to win. I try to put the players. I don't look who it is. I don't care about that. I just trying to put the best players on the pitch. My job is to answer, but I'm trying to answer always the same thing. And you ask me always the same thing. I understand what you are saying. You love Kobbi. He starts for England, but that doesn't mean that I need to put Kobbi when I feel that I shouldn't put Kobbi. So it's my decision.
For all you say about the academy, that you don't actually trust the academy.
Why?
Because you never pick any players.
Any players we have Kobbi Mainoo.
Well, Lacey.
But Lacey in difficult situations. And Lacey, sometimes when Brian is not there, I put Ahmad because I have other wing backs to play. And sometimes it's hard. So you are asking me why I don't put Lacey to play when I have other guys that are international and also they are in the bench. So I try to put the best guys, the prepared guys for this moment of the club and try to win a game. That's the only thing, guys.
That was Ruben Amorim. He was talking about Shea Lacey towards the end. He's a teenage winger who came through the academy, who's been on the bench a couple of times in the last few weeks but hasn't made it yet on to the pitch. Paul Scholes particularly unhappy about Mainoo not being in the side, saying the kid is being ruined, not being played in a team that can't control a game of football, hates seeing homegrown players leave, but it's probably best for him. Enough is enough. What is it about Kobbi Mainoo that Ruben Amorim doesn't like, do we think?
Martin might be better equipped to answer that. I mean, he's got to build his own team the way he wants to build it. I mean, obviously, Paul's wonderful stint at management in Oldham will give him a credential to be able to assess what should be managed at Man United. There's clearly a reason why Ruben Amorim doesn't want to play him. I think Kobbi Mainoo is not as good a player as people think he is. They built him up into being something. Of course, when someone isn't there, people want to attack what you haven't put in there. I mean, if Man United beat Wolves today, where do they go in the league? Fifth?
That is the situation, isn't it? You know, the Manchester United actually, and Liverpool as well, they're actually closer to the top end of the table because it's so congested than actually you'd think, because it's so competitive in that middle sort of area of the Premier League at the moment. But what do you see in Mainoo that he could bring to this team?
I think maybe he's the one that suffers the most with this change of system and this sort of dogged approach from the manager of non-flexibility, has to be a back three, has to have two midfield players. Okay, Casemiro is in there. It seems a big ask for him. It seems to be the problem for them, and he doesn't want to put the young kid in. I know that Ugarte doesn't play either, and he's international. I see the argument, but I think if you're a player that's come through the ranks and you want to see, and I think he was playing very well before this manager came to the club, and he sort of stunted his growth. He doesn't seem to love the player or be giving him the opportunity.
Do you think isn't anything the player's doing? Is it? I mean, ultimately, I remember Souness talking about Mainoo and didn't think he quite knew his job. And made observations about how Mainoo was running around doing things that he shouldn't be doing on a field that a central midfield player shouldn't be doing. but that might just be the impetuosity of youth. Is there anything in the makeup of this player that might be in being the architect of his own downfall? I think he's been a little bit clever about some of the opportunities he thinks he hasn't gotten himself.
But maybe they look at the stats, they think he's not able to get up and down the pitch, but it's what he does on the ball. It's how effective he is. What can he create? And I think that needs to be looked at. And as I say, if this system, if they had a third midfield player, they might actually play better.
Okay, well, we'll find out whether or not they play well tonight, because we've got the game live on TalkSport, 8 o'clock, Wolves against Manchester United. Tomorrow night, Inter Milan against Liverpool. And the breaking news that we brought you in the last hour was that Mo Salah, after training today with Liverpool, is not expected to be in the squad that goes to the San Siro for that game. We'll try and put a bit of flesh on that throughout the course of the afternoon on TalkSport.